Okay everybody, I'm gonna quick do a video here, and what this video is gonna be about, I'm gonna get this up on YouTube. But I just did a video on Instagram talking about shops and whatnot, how it's important to have a shop. But I'm gonna do another video here on on two subjects, one about snowplows and one about a shop. You'll see in the background my shop is an organized mess. I know where everything is, and that's all that counts. Or most of the stuff I know where it is. And plus, I got projects going on in here to a degree. I always have something going on in my shop. But what I'm going to touch base on here is shopping for the right snowplow is near a life and death choice. Buying the wrong snowplow for your business can actually hurt your business. And what I'm going to get at is I have nothing against V-plows. So whatever I'm going to say here, nobody take it the wrong way. V-plows are nice to have. They have a purpose. What I'm going to get at here is you're getting in the industry and you only have one plow. You need to make the right choice on that snowplow so that it can be a profitable piece of equipment. In my case here, I already had a V-plow. The V-plow came with my dump truck when I bought it. So I wasn't as concerned about buying another V-plow. Instead, I chose this here. It's actually what's referred to as a Hinker C-Series flip plow. This plow, I can pull up to a garage door, to a loading dock. If I have a tight area where, like, let's say a dumpster is located and I need to clear the snow out for a dumpster. If it's 8 feet wide, I can get into it and I can pull snow backwards in reverse out of the area and scrape down to bare cement on the first pull for as far as I have to go. If it's really wet, heavy snow, then I might have to do 1 or 2 pulls, but I can scrape down to bare cement. This plow will even scrape up my tire tracks. And I'm going to explain this in a little bit how this system works. I'm going to come in front here and I'm going to get down and show everybody. Okay, on the snowplow, I have a cutting edge on the top here. This whole chunk of steel right here, I'm trying to keep the light out of the lens. Right here, this is an actual cutting blade. It's only 1/4 inch thick. Your bottoms are usually 3/8 or 1/2 inch. I just got a new cutting blade on the bottom and he did not have the 1/2 inch, so I had to settle for the 3/8. I would have liked to have the 1/2 inch, but it wasn't doable. I'm just going to have to deal with it. Accordingly, the cost is a little bit less. So blade's going to wear out, but I didn't pay as much. So one offsets the other, if you want to say. But this here, these come standard 1/4 inch thick. You're not always using this, so they use a little bit lighter metal on them. Normally the upper blade will last me 2.5 seasons, maybe 3. So far, this is the 3rd time now. I bought this snowplow in 2013, brand new. This is the 3rd cutting edge on the top. Believe it or not, it's the 1st cutting edge on the bottom. So, but I do a lot of back dragging. So, but now what this plow consists of is right here, this whole piece that you see here, it's kind of hidden. You don't know that you're actually looking at a C-plow unless you look for this round bar here. Because what happens is this whole top piece here flips down and this scraper edge lifts off the ground about 9 inches to a foot. But this lifts off the ground when the plow flips this will actually fold forward 100, almost 180 degrees, and when it makes contact with the ground, you throw the truck in reverse and you're back dragging. I put a video or two out there on this. If you do a little bit of research on the Hinker C-Series flip plow, you'll see a guy here and there who actually are using them, and to kind of get a little insight on what they do. The early Hinker flip plows did have a problem. There was an issue where they were folding back due to, I believe it was not enough ribs, and they must have fixed the problem, because I have yet to have a problem with the snowplow. My take is they redesigned some stuff, and after the redesign, they fixed the problem. But in my case, I do commercial parking lots, large and small ones, with this plow. Generally, if I'm windrowing, I don't need a V-plow. The only time it really does kind of hinder me a little bit is if I have to do the final cleanup on a parking lot, and really I don't notice much difference. I just learned how to adapt to having a straight blade. If I were to go and get my dump truck, it would be a lot of wasted time running to get it. So usually I end up just using my flip plow here for like 95% of everything, unless I have a different piece of equipment out. But what I'm going to get at here, though, is when you purchase snow plows, and this is what I'm going to get at is pertaining more to wintertime and the subject of having a shop. You want a shop not only just for winter, but for general maintenance, especially if you have to work on something serious like swapping an engine out on a piece of equipment. Yeah, you can do it outside too, but let's say you need to work on something and you have a rainy day project. You can't really work on stuff while it's a downpour outside, so having a shop is nice for those times when when the elements aren't cooperating. My shop gets more used in the winter than in the summer. Now usually what I do is I fix stuff right out at my off-grid storage site, where I store all my equipment. I usually have my enclosed trailer out there, and that has a toolbox. So normally I'm fixing stuff using my enclosed trailer. But in the winter time, a shop is important, and this is why right here. We discovered that there was an issue with the snowplow, and it has nothing to do with the word Hinker. And it's nothing to do with their design necessarily. It has to do with the way the machine is used. And because of, we think it's my snowplow dealer, we actually talked about this, and we think it's because of the design that Hinker has, which there's really no way around this. When the snowplow is being put into back drag mode, it causes different stress points on the plow. And what was happening is inside here, there's a pocket that the snowplow is attached to a truck. And we found out that there was wear points inside here that caused the snowplow to not sit. I'm having to readjust the camera. When the plow is on the truck, this bar here should be perpendicular to the ground. And what was happening is the snowplow was leaning forward about an inch. It was about an inch forward, which was not allowing my snowplow to lift all the way up. And because it wasn't lifting all the way up like it should, it was just causing irregular problems with plowing. I could still work with it, but I could have actually went and did some work internally on both of these. We actually did do it about 4 years ago. Right in here, if you notice there, it looks like there was some welding. Trying to stop the part from wiggling. We actually did add some metal in here. We added like a 1/4 inch piece of steel that was like 2 inches long on both sides, which tightened the plow back up. But that was about 3 years ago we did that. And now I notice that the plow is doing it again. And we came to the conclusion what was happening is if you look from here to here, there's a bubble. And right where the pin hooked up, the plow was sitting at a downward angle, and this was being, weight was being put here and down here. This was not making contact, and this was not making contact. This here was slowly pushing up, and that was pushing down, which was causing the plow to lean forward. So the solution was, if you look at this one, this is nice and flat now. Bought a new piece for the plow, and basically what I had to do is I had to take everything off of that hitch and put it on this hitch. I basically had to take the pump off, take the hydraulic ram off, the headlights off. In all, it took me 1.5 hours. I wasn't running no marathon to get it done, but it took me about 1.5 hours. Now, that being said, this is why I'm getting back to the subject of having a shop. If I didn't have a shop, when I picked up the hitch here from my plow dealer, he quoted me the price on it. And I have nothing against him. I've had him do work for me before. I didn't really want to deal with changing my blades on the plow. I was kind of pressed for time that day, and he changed my plow blades for me, and it was like $50. It took his guy maybe 15 minutes to quick pop off the bolts and put new blades on it, because I just had new blades put on. An extra $50, and he did it. I've had him do other stuff. When this part here needed to be welded inside, he did that for me. I needed new headlights for the plow. I had him just throw them, on right then and there. Because these are, I think, 2 years old. I was going to go with the LEDs, but the LEDs were still somewhat new on the market, and the price was kind of high. They still are kind of high, so that's why I'm just dealing with regular halogen incandescents. Maybe down the road I will switch to LED, but for right now, halogen works just fine. In fact, I just got done cleaning up the lenses. You ever want to know how to keep your headlights nice and clean on your plow? New finish. Take new finish and you just scrub all your stuff off. Never open up your headlights unless it's absolutely necessary to change a bulb. There is a trick to doing headlights and not getting internal damage to your bulbs. It involves a hair dryer. And I'm going to kind of explain this because it's something I learned from an old school mechanic from 15, 20 years ago. You have the headlight that you need to take apart, or the blinker bulb that needs to take apart, and you don't want to get your fading to start occurring on the inside. There is a trick, and I'm going to explain this to the best of my ability right now. When you change the bulb, put your high beam on while you're taking your low beam bulb out. What happens is you're heating up the air inside your headlight. If you can't do that, the next best thing is a hair dryer against the plastic to warm the plastic up, which warms the air on the inside. What happens is if the air is warm, you're going to get rid of the moisture in the headlight. As it cools, the moisture is not going to be there. The other trick is to do your headlight change as quickly as possible while you have the high beam on. The high beam is going to create a lot of heat inside there, which is going to dry the air out, which is not going to allow the cold air to get in. It's just a little trick I learned a long time ago. By doing that, you're going to have less likely. If you ever notice a headlight that gets a water formation inside of it, that's usually what happened. The person took the headlight out and left the headlight off for several minutes, half hour, and a lot of air and moisture got in there, especially if it was a high moisture condition. By leaving your headlight on, you're leaving dry condition inside the headlight lens. So you want to put your high beam on, take your low beam out, and if it's opposite where your high beam is burned out and you need to change your low beam, then opposite also there. But you want that halogen light to be on so it's creating heat inside the headlight area. Your parking light bulb usually doesn't do it, but your high beam will. As I said, you can also use a hair dryer to heat up the plastic. You don't want to use a heat gun or anything like that because you can actually melt the plastic. You just want to get that plastic hot so that there's warm air on the inside. And the other thing too is put your high beam on for a couple minutes and let it sit. Let that air inside the headlight get really warm. That will stop you from having water droplets and whatnot on the inside of your headlight lens. But to clean the exterior, new finish. You run new finish over it. If you look at mine, yeah, I got a couple scrapes right here along the top. I must have bumped it against something. But if you look at the lens, it's near spotless. So, but now getting back to the plow hitch and the shop subject. Now, when I was at the snowplow dealer, he told me straight out it would have been $200 for him. Well, I think he had said $200. From my guessing on his prices, it would have been about, if it took me an hour and a half thinking around, it would have probably taken, his guy probably at least an hour. So, considering the situation, I can't even really say for sure. I mean, I might be talking, I'm not really sure, but the bottom line is with the snowplow subject is that wintertime, a shop is important because you save money. And money saved is a new guy in the business. Yeah, the guys who have been in business for a while, you're going to understand this. But for the new guys in the business, money saved is money earned. If you can save money and do repairs yourself, I have nothing, like I said, against the shops, but if you can save money and do a repair yourself, and even if it's only $200 that something's going to cost you at the shop, $200 that you saved by not going to the shop is $200 that you earned. A lot of guys out there swear by taking their blades off their lawnmower, dropping it off at the shop. There's one guy out there, he says that his shop has a blade exchange system. You drop off one set, you pick up another set. That all costs money. In my case, I don't really want to walk over there, so I'll just quick zoom in. Right over there is my bench grinder. I don't have one of those fancy blade sharpener systems and whatnot. What it comes down to is I bring the mower home at night, take the blades off, quickly sharpen them, or I swap out the blade, and I'm usually good to go. Having a shop is important for so many different reasons. It's nearly impossible to go in all the ways that, in my case, and there's most likely other guys out there who will testify to this. Um, if you know how to fix that item, a shop can save you multitudes of money. Being from changing spark plugs in your work truck to changing blades on the mower, doing an oil change. In my case, I can even get into more serious stuff because I have a welder sitting right there. It's actually a stick welder. I have a stick welder because usually I'm having to weld stuff like this right here. Snow plow breaks down and I got thick metal to weld. Stick welders will weld up to half-inch thick, no problem. They can even do thicker than that. But I'm going to go up here. I have a 2-ton chain hoist hanging from my ceiling net. The ceiling has a reinforcement underneath the drywall. That's why the ceiling was never finished. They just never got around to it. But there's a steel I-beam that I-beam has bolts going through it and it's attached. So I can basically, if I need to, I can lift this whole snowplow up right off the ground inside my shop. That's kind of why it's sitting where it was, because I was going to use it, but I ended up going about a different way. I didn't even actually need to lift it, quite frankly. But having a shop that's set up as a shop it's important when you get to be a larger company. When you're just starting out, as long as you have that place to work, even if you have, the small little toolbox where you can, get to walk behind snowblower in the garage or your truck in there to change spark plugs, as long as you got a place, especially in the wintertime. Summertime, it's not as critical, but wintertime, you want to have that extra spot to do that work that you can't normally get done outside. It's just it's a near requirement in this industry to have a shop. So on that note, I'm gonna close out this video here, and I just figured I'd give a little insight, onto the shop subject, because I've been wanting to do a video on this. Like I said, my shop in the background, you're going to see stuff on the workbenches and whatnot. I know where everything is, and that's the important fact. You're also going to see some wood over there. That's some woodworking project that I got going on the side. They're actually going to be tables, but I kind of paused on that right now. My brain is burned out working on that stuff. But it's more or less going to be deck furniture. So it's kind of one of my side hobby things that I'm trying to venture back into. I used to do that stuff back 20 years ago, and now that I got the multitude of equipment to make that stuff happen, I want to get back into that stuff. But that's a subject in itself right there. Maybe one day I can get a video done on how I actually do that stuff, but yeah, I just wanted to touch base on this, that, shops are important, and picking out the right type of snowplow that you want for your company, that is also near critically important. So, but on that note, I'm going to close this video out, and if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. I do want to get into doing more videos. I just don't get a lot of time to do them, but seeing I had the snowplow in here and I had to do some work on it, I figured I'd, do a twofold on two subjects that are of importance. So, but anyway, I'll cut out here, and yeah, next time I do a video, if you're subscribed, hopefully your phone or your YouTube yells at you that I did a video. So, but I'll catch you on the next video. All right, later. Bye.